Animal Crossing is here, and just in time for coronavirus lockdowns. The game is beautiful, the crafting mechanics are refreshing, and the characters are so adorable. Except Olaf.
Bruh. Bruh.
Simply put, everyone is loving it. Well, everyone aside from PETA. PETA, or People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, are an animal rights advocate organisation. Last week they came out with a guide to playing Animal Crossing in a vegan compliant way, answering tough ethical questions that your getaway on a deserted island apparently presents. Clearly they didn't see my last video, which answered all of Animal Crossing's complex moral riddles. So let's have a look at it and, try and make ourselves angry. Fishing is right out, which, look, it's a shame because catching whale sharks makes me happier than I've felt in 10 years. PETA admits that the fish in the game don't feel pain, but you should ignore this enormous aspect of the game anyway, because tearing the wildlife right out of their ocean homes so that you can donate them to blathers for museum exhibits is not only cruel, but also bad for the environment. Now, this claim is intriguing because if you've played the game, you'll actually notice that it doesn't matter how many fish you catch, the variety of fish available in the ocean and the beauty and cleanliness of the waters doesn't actually change. Moving on, it's interesting that PETA admit the fish don't feel pain, because they employ this really innovative tactic of immediately contradicting themselves. You shouldn't dig for clams in New Horizons because, although it's unclear whether they feel pain, it's best to be safe than sorry and not dig for clams on your island. I'm not quite sure how this supports their argument considering they've already acknowledged that pain doesn't matter here, but maybe I'm just too smooth-brained to understand. Catching virtual bugs is immoral as well. By donating them to blathers, you're depriving them, and the fish too I suppose, of everything natural and important to them. And look, I have to disagree, because there's no way this turtle isn't living his best life. But wait, isn't curating a museum Blather's ultimate life goal? Does he not look after the insects and fish with the utmost care, even though he's grossed out or scared of them? It's almost as if not donating to the museum would deprive Blathers, an animal, of the things most important to him. Sarcasm aside, PETA makes these claims based on the assumption that all animals, including insects, clams, and fish, are equal in value and in rights to humans. This is really ironic considering their history of violence and discrimination against people. Back in 2001, members of Stop Huntingdon Animal Cruelty brutally bludgeoned a medical researcher outside his home in England. When their president was asked to comment on the event, now I'm not going to say the president of PETA's name because honestly, I feel like hearing people talk about her may give her some kind of sexual pleasure. She simply stated, "More power to SHAC if they can get someone's attention. Apparently beating in a man's head is okay, but donating some butterflies to Blather's beautiful museum is not." Then there's their Community Animal Project, which supposedly aims to locate and rescue abused and neglected animals. Former employees have claimed that this project disproportionately targets poor, immigrant, Spanish-speaking communities. I think a lot of you will have heard of the instance in 2014 where PETA employees trespassed in one of these communities and stole a pet chihuahua named Maya. They tried to lure this pet, which was a Christmas present to a 9-year-old girl, off the property with biscuits so they could claim Maya was a stray, and when that didn't work, they just waltzed over and committed larceny. Within hours, Maya was euthanized, despite state laws requiring any animal to be held for 5 days before being killed. Maya isn't alone. As of 2019, PETA has killed over 40,000 animals, or 83.5% of the animals their shelters receive. They don't exactly hide this either, as their senior vice president has stated PETA is not in the home finding business. Their service is to provide a peaceful and painless death to animals who no one wants. Now with coronavirus, happening, and lab priorities changing, many research places have had to cull their rodent populations. PETA criticised this killing spree as the path of convenience, but euthanizing healthy pets is evidently necessary and acceptable. Sounds a bit speciesist to me.
But I'm not done yet!
From ties to terrorist organisations to promoting pseudoscience to misuse of their funds, there's not much PETA hasn't fucked up. But they're not just stupid and hypocritical, they're strategic and malicious. All these ridiculous opinions and violent actions constantly push the definition of what's considered acceptable protest. 10, 15 years ago, throwing fake blood on a fur coat was considered pretty damn extreme, but today it's stock standard for there to be weird, bloody, and even ritualistic demonstrations.
I'm vegan!
Alright.
I'm vegan!
Now what's considered radical is theft, firebombs, and beating scientists bloody. This is largely thanks to PETA constantly upping the ante with their bad taste and shock tactics. So yeah, I'd say they're responsible for a lot more violence than what they've managed to stop. I realise this Animal Crossing article isn't the first time they've pulled a stunt like this. They've made a number of Nintendo parody games in the past, including Cooking Mama, Mama Kills Animals, Pokemon Black and Blue, and Super Tanuki Skin. They've been described by their own president as complete press sluts, so unfortunately I am feeding into their aims by making this video. However, Animal Crossing is the big ticket game at the moment, so if even a few people can learn to just hate PETA from this video, or just from reading the ridiculousness of the guide they wrote, then I think we're doing something right. Thank you so much for watching. I am working on another proper video essay. It's going to be on Final Fantasy, but I just wanted to make something shorter and I thought this would be interesting enough to tide us over. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and like and, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.